I'm Ross Galabreeze, Executive Editor of the Herald-Star and the Weirton Daily Times, and we're at St. Florian Hall tonight for the induction of the class of 2013 into the Lou Holtz Hall of Fame. It's a chance to recognize, of course, athletics throughout the tri-state area, but it's also a chance to recognize teachers, students, and families, for example. All of those people will receive awards and honors tonight. One of the main speakers this evening will be Urban Meyer, who will be beginning his second year as coach of the Ohio State University Buckeyes this fall. Mike, what can we expect to hear from Urban?
My guess is a lot about his days at Bowling Green. No, just kidding. Obviously, they're coming off a 12-0 season, which they were, on probation, and now they're off. So you expect another 12-0 season, just like most Buckeye fans do. And obviously, he'll talk to the gazillion Buckeye fans who'll be in here about what he does and about their season. And we got a local kid playing, Najee Murray, rehabbing his knee. He said he'd be back playing this year. So I'm looking forward to a good night here.
Right, and of course, Phil Necro,
knuckleballer from Bridgeport, obviously a Hall of Famer. He's going to be fun to listen to because you like listening to the old guys talk about back in the day, and I'm sure he's got about 8 million stories that he can tell. So that's going to be really interesting. The one thing for me, the girl from Megan Vogel is here being honored. She was at the state meet last year, helped her run across the finish line in the 3200. Got national attention and deservedly so. So it's going to be really. I'm going to really like listening to her too.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
From there, I left Ohio State, went to Illinois State University, and then from Illinois State, I moved on to Colorado State. That's the first chance I had to be part of big-time college football. And Colorado State was actually, ironically, replaced Skip Holtz as receiver coach at Colorado State. So that's my first exposure to big-time football, out on the road recruiting, learning the ropes. I think I was 25, 26 years old. We could not afford to come home on weekends, so it was not unusual for me to be gone for 4 or 5, sometimes in spring or late January, February, we'd be gone 5, 6 weeks. And I had 2 little girls at the time. We started our family, and when we were little, sometimes the kids would jump in your bed in the middle of the night, they get scared or something. So I was gone for quite a while. And in the middle of the night, when the girls jumped in my bed, in our bed, and I get up in the morning to take a shower, I've been gone for a long time, and all of a sudden, as I get up and I walk into the shower, I hear my little girl say, "Mommy, is that Daddy?" Damn right, that's Daddy. It would have been not as good a story if she said, "Is that Uncle Jake or Uncle Ted?" So from Colorado State, I got the phone call from Lou Holtz, the coach at the great Notre Dame. Spent 5 years there, and then from Notre Dame, I had a chance to get my first head coaching job. And I was asked to interview Bowling Green by Earl Bruce pushed my name very hard, Coach Holtz. And I go interview for the position, not really thinking I want to go to Bowling Green. But the more research I did, it was a wonderful place. And so I go interview for the position, not thinking I'm going to get it. I get the phone call, we're going to offer you the job. And so I started thinking about it. I love Notre Dame. My son was born there. He was baptized in the chapel. And I thought, now is not the time. I'm not going to take that. So I turned down the job, and I called Coach Bruce, and I won't share you the language he used with me on the phone when I turned it down, and he basically told me I should take it. And then I had to make the hard phone call. And that was to Coach Holtz. And I said, "Coach, I'm not going to, I got offered the job, and I'm not going to take it." And he says, "What?" And I said, "I'm not going to take it." He says, "Why not?" I said, "I don't believe it's a good job." And he said, "Well, of course not. If it's a good job, you think they'd be calling you?" So after that. But this story is a rather unique story. One of only 6 teams ever to go undefeated at the great, if not the greatest program in America, Ohio State. So back in December, we're hired. Our staff, I actually hired someone to look into this NCAA thing, and they came back and said, "Coach, we don't believe you lose a bowl game. We believe there'll be probation, and you move on." And I said, "Okay," because I understand momentum in college football. Well, once you get behind the 8 ball, it's hard to get it back. And they start taking bowl games from you. You lose recruits, you start struggling, and it's just hard to get it back in order. So I get the phone call. I get the meeting. When they tell me that, I sit down for about 5 minutes. I jump up and I said, okay, we're not worried that something I've changed. I'm not worried about what happened in the past. I'm going forward. Let's go. Give me the staff meeting. I had a staff meeting within 2 minutes, and within 5 minutes I had my seniors there. And I called them in. I didn't know one of them. You know, I had high expectations for Ohio State kids because of the type of player that you normally get. And I started selling them on our program. And it was pure faith. They had no idea. We were a new staff coming in. There was some great things done prior to our staff coming here. And the NCAA says this about the rule. If you're on probation or if you lose a bowl game, you can stand up, you can walk out that door without penalty and go play for any school in America. And obviously I was in panic because we had some pretty good players in that senior class, from what I was told. I didn't know them. And so I started talking to them, and not one of them left. And I didn't quite understand why. I didn't understand why. Here's these people, these young guys that just had basically had their professional careers ripped apart as far as college, their intercollegiate careers. You come to Ohio State to play in bowl games. I mean, you get a great degree as well, and I mean, that's the number one reason. Number two, you come to play in championships. You come to get rings. And they came in and they told our players that you couldn't go. They said, oh, and I added this, and oh, by the way, you did nothing wrong. Think about that for a minute. A group of players sat there right in front of me, did nothing wrong, but they had their dreams taken away from them. And the trump card was you can get up and you can go. So we started our journey together. Went through February, went through March. I was very concerned about offensively. I just didn't see some of the players we needed, and I just undervalued the leadership and chemistry of our team. And so I saw a team develop through the summer, and we started the season, and it was brutal. If you remember that, we're playing Miami of Ohio, and Miami of Ohio is a great program, but we have highly recruited players, and supposedly we're supposed to be much better than Miami. That score at the end of the first quarter, if you guys remember, 7-0. And it's not 7-0 because we're turning the ball over. It's because 7-0, we're not very good. That team's better than us. We're playing. We end up winning that game. And we keep going on our journey. The second game, even probably worse. Second game, we're 2-0, and I hear our players talk, but everybody knew within our program that we weren't a very good team at that point. And then we got to game 3, and that was the Cal game where we scrambled and threw the touchdown pass at the end to win the game. And then came week 4 when we beat UAB. If you remember that game, that was probably the ugliest football game I've been associated with in a long time. I see a lot of Buckeye fans nod your head. That was awful. And I knew that I saw what was coming. I saw we had Michigan State and we had Nebraska, 2 top 20 teams at the time, at East Lansing, and I knew it was time to hit the panic button. Because if we don't win those 2 games, you start your Ohio State career 0-2 in the Big Ten. And I might be asked, Coach Holtz might ask me to speak here, but I'll probably begin hit with dinner rolls on the way up here as I was speaking.